Welcome. This is Efunlayo, your host for Aligned and Whole. Thank you for joining me today. Our topic for this session of Aligned and Whole is energy healing for parents. Many of you practice different forms of energy healing, whether it's Reiki or other types. So today, as parents, grandparents, aunties, uncles, caregivers of young people, I have some suggestions and tips for you. Our children need us to be at our best. And when we practice our energy healing systems regularly, it helps us to show up for them as well as for ourselves. It helps us to be grounded. It helps us to be patient, intuitive, and fully present for those in our care. I like to, as a Reiki master teacher, to always make sure that I do my Reiki healing for myself first in the beginning of each day, and especially if I'm going to have clients that day or if I'm teaching a class. So I use the Reiki precepts. So if you are a Reiki healer, a Reiki practitioner, please review those. If not, then whatever system you use to connect with your inner self, with source energy or spirit, always do that at the beginning of your day. As also, I believe in the power of the word, the power of prayer. So I use some form of prayer or affirmation to assist me in that connection. So in terms of grounding, what does it do for us? We hear that word a lot. So it's the process of bringing our awareness fully into the present moment, physically, emotionally, mentally, and energetically, so that we have that rootedness to Mother Earth that gives us stability and helps us to connect with our inner selves even more. It stabilizes our nervous system. So we're centered instead of scattered. We're calm instead of reactive. We're present instead of being reactive, and we're connected to our body and to the environment, which allows us to be connected to our children. And when I speak of children, I'm talking about children of all ages. So whether you're dealing with infants, toddlers, school age, teenagers, all of that. So some additional benefits from being grounded is emotionally. It helps us to be stabilized. It prevents burnout. It helps us to prevent compassion fatigue from being caregivers. It helps to reduce our stress reactivity and increases our empathy for those that are in our care. And it improves our emotional resilience. So it really is an important aspect to include in whatever energy healing system that you use. Staying connected to the earth energy helps to maintain energetic boundaries as well, so that we're not as impacted with our aura encountering all different types of energy frequencies throughout our walk in life. And it helps to keep our life force balanced while we're helping others. So the physical benefits, it lowers tension and fatigue and improves our breath and our posture, and it creates stamina sometimes on those very, very long days. Some other benefits, it helps us to be better communicators with our children and other ones. We have better presence and authority. It increases our ability to intuit because we're more aware, we're not scattered, and it creates a balanced emotional climate for everyone that we encounter. So grounding yourself helps you to be grounded with the children, and that groundedness transfers to them. So then we also are able to create a safer environment for them and gives us better focus, which creates better focus for them. And when we have issues surrounding having the possibility of behavior escalations, it helps us to reduce how we might overreact in some situations, especially when we are fully grounded. They tend to co-regulate with us. So some of the grounding techniques that I like to use are the 3 deep breath reset. So it's quick, it's discreet, and effective. So you can do it in the middle of an activity, or if you are encountering a little challenge with one of your children that you're working with. So you're going to inhale slowly through the nose and exhale longer than your inhale. And you're going to repeat that 3 times. When to use? Before the next activity begins, after a challenging interaction, and this technique balances the nervous system immediately. So you can use it at any time, even when you're not with children. So another grounding technique that I like is feet to earth awareness. And this helps to work with subtle energetic grounding. So you place both feet firmly on the floor or the ground, and you imagine roots growing downward from your feet into the earth, and you feel the weight of your body supported by the earth. This helps maintain presence while you're speaking. So if you're standing with or around or with any type of individual, these are generic, so it's not just with children, then you have a better sense of connection with yourself so that you speak what you mean and mean what you speak. You're better able to connect with the individuals and intuit what words to use, what technique, what communication style, and everything is going to be most effective. If you happen to be a Reiki practitioner and you have been attuned to the symbols, this would be a time where you can also include the symbols, use of the symbols in those grounding activities. Another thing that I love is that the musical scale itself is coordinated with our chakras. So playing music, as you know, can be very soothing, can be energizing depending on the frequency of the music that you use. And it's kind of like a way of attuning your chakras all at one time. So depending on what activity you may be doing, music of certain sorts can always enhance. And one thing I love about music and sound healing is it doesn't need to be audible for it to be impactful to our nervous system. So you can have some very low background music that's barely audible, or it can be something that's a part of the activity, such as when, especially if you want to quiet the environment, you can use different types of music to do that. Most importantly, I have found that music, instrumental music, has the most impact because it allows the individuals to focus on what they're doing as opposed to feeling like they need to pay attention to the words that are being sang in the music. Another activity that I like to use for whether you're doing working at home or if you're doing an activity in a location is to use some visualization to set the environment, okay? So you can visualize your home, or if you happen to be someone who gives child care, visualize your home or the location where you're keeping the children or interacting with them in a bubble. And you're going to do your meditation, whatever kind of breathing techniques you normally use. If you have Reiki symbols, you're going to use that. And you close your eyes and you visualize that place, that home, that room, and you visualize it in a bubble of light, a level of peaceful energy. And you're going to send good vibes by making intention statements that we're going to have the best day ever. Everyone is going to be on one accord. We're going to be calm and cool and collected. Another way of doing this activity, and if you are, say you're a child care provider, is to visualize the building where you do your child care. You can visualize, even if you're working in a classroom, visualize your classroom, but also the entire building so that everybody benefits from the energy that you're projecting for the calm, grounded peace. You can also have a picture of your home that you send energy healing to when you do your meditations or your prayers so that it's impacting it on an ongoing basis. I love that technique, and I've used it many times. You can also have a list of the children's names that you have on a sheet of paper. And this is similar to if any of you have had the experience of being involved in a spiritual community where you have what we call a prayer list. So you simply write all of the individuals' names, whether you have a co-teacher or a co-parent who's going to be working with you that day, and a list of all of the children's names, and you simply send projected energy, or you can put your hands, and this is another place for the Reiki symbols, that you will send to that list of names at the beginning of the day before you even encounter them. So as a parent, most parents wake up before their children, and so you would project that energy of your intentions for peace, calm, success, connection, whatever your intention is, to that list of names. Or you could have a collage of pictures of your children that you send energy healing to for their day as collective group or as individuals. This is really, really a fascinating thing to do. Say, for instance, if you're planning a family outing or you're going on vacation or something like that, to send the energy before you even begin the activity to help ensure the success and that everybody connects and has a wonderful time. Remembering that we are energy and we're constantly in motion, and we're connecting with all the energy from other people, other places, the plants, the animal life, the mineral life. And so we're constantly being connected and bombarded with all types of energies. And so this is something that can be helpful on an everyday basis or throughout the day when you just take your thoughts back to that original intention that you had. And so this is like having a personal ritual to empower anything that you're doing. So what is a ritual? It's a series of acts that may include empowering words or statements, mantras, if you will, as well as prayer and visualization. Prayer takes many, many forms. Ritual takes many, many forms. You could use crystals, you could use incense, essential oils that all are on the same frequency of providing a calm environment, a grounded environment. You can anoint the list or the picture that you have of your environment. You anoint your hands as you're sending that energy to that circumstance, that situation. If you happen to have a child who may sometimes be challenged by their behavior, you can also send specific energy to different individuals to help them have a more cohesive experience within the group or individually. So this brings up for if you have children who go out from your home to school, you can use this activity on them individually to send energy to each individual, or again collectively with the intention that it will meet each individual person's needs. And don't forget to include yourself and your spouse or partner who may be working with you and any other members of the household family in that activity. And so these suggestions can be combined or they could be used individually. So an idea might be that you have one that you use for each day of the week. Or if your schedule is super crazy, like most parents are, you can have a day of the week where you do it for the entire week, and you simply make the statement that your intention is that this healing that you're sending out, this energy projection that you're sending out, will be perpetual for a certain period of time. And guess what? You have the power of the word, so you make it so. So another thing I love to do is if you are still in a stage with some or all of your children where you do bedtime stories, and even if you do homework or assistant homework, charge yourself first before you sit down with that child or that group of children to do whatever it is. And another thing, say a lot of families have where the children do their homework at the dining room table, but some of them do their homework in their room. Make sure you put your hands on the table or on their desk in their room, even on their tools, their laptop or their iPad or whatever it may be, and clear the energy of those things, because all objects collect energy. And so you make your affirmation statements and things of that nature to assist the energy of their use of those tools, especially if you have a child who may be struggling with a particular subject in school. You can, most of the kids now don't use textbooks, but if they do, work with the textbooks as well as with their electronic devices that assist them in doing their assignments. I also like to do individual healings with children, whether you pick a day of the week for each child if you have more than one, but the more you can do that with them and teach them how to do those energy healings for themselves, teach them meditation. These are lifelong skills that will assist them no matter how old they get, how far away from home they go. I always recommend that we teach our children what we know as energy healers, and especially teach them things such as meditation. One of the things I get all the time is, well, I'm busy. I don't have all the time to do meditation every day and then do my Reiki every day or my other energy healing things. Combine them. So while you're sitting in meditation, you're also doing your energy healing. So whether it's Reiki or something else, think about being creative enough to combine those activities. You can send Reiki and or other energy healing system to yourself, and then when you finish with yourself, you include those loved ones that you're wanting also to assist in that manner. And then at least once or twice a month or more would be even better, you have a family activity where you meditate together and calm all the energies. Maybe have a list that each person makes and you put it in the middle of a circle, or each person holds their list in their hand. Or as a family, you could sit in meditation and collectively visualize a bubble of light, of healing, of balance, of grounding over your entire house. And then if you're really ambitious, you can project that bubble over your entire neighborhood, an entire city, and even all over Mother Earth. You can do that if you're not good at visualizing, or if you're helping your children to visualize. You can have a picture of your house again, as we stated. Take a picture of your neighborhood, a couple of houses, or get the globe, pinpoint your state, your city, your town, your neighborhood on a map or a globe, and then project that healing grounding energy in that way to assist yourself or your children with making that connection. Sometimes things can get a little abstract for some of us, so that could help with making that connection. So this will foster that connection in your children, that they can be a tool, use their tools of meditation, of energy healing, of prayer, mantras, words of power anywhere they are, no matter where they are, because this can be done as something that you do outwardly, but it can also be done privately, even silently. They can be sitting in class, getting ready to take a test, and maybe they're a little anxious. They can just close their eyes and go within and visualize themselves going through that test, and that all that they studied is coming back to them, and they're able to put it down on the paper or select the right thing on the electronic device that they may be using to take their test. These are invaluable things that you can teach your children to use anytime in any place. So can you imagine you teach them those things while they're young, and when they leave you and they go on to post high school training and education, whether it's college or trades or whatever they may do, they will have those tools always when they meet a challenging situation, or they just want to enhance their possibility for success. They can use these many tools of grounding and sound healing and projecting energy for themselves and in other situations. Can you just imagine that you have a student, a child who is an attorney or a lawyer or a homemaker, and they have those things? Great success, great success. So as a family doing those things together, whether you're a family of two, you and your child, or a bigger family that includes multi-generations, these are things that can be used. And one of my soapbox things that I always have to talk about is if you have individuals in your care and in your family who have diverse needs, meaning that they have what is called a disability, or they're on the spectrum, or any of those kind of things. Remember, their needs are no different than your own. It's just that they have some unique thing about them that stands out that may require you to assist them in different ways. And these items of meditation, of energy healing, and sound healing are so critically important for all of us, and especially if you have someone who may have an area of life that is challenging to them, that they could use a little extra help. So If you are, again, a Reiki healer and you've been attuned to symbols, this is the perfect way to assist by adding those symbols to those activities. And also find someone that you get to help you to train your children and attune them in Reiki. Children are naturals at energy healing, and it's very easy to explain to them. Just do a little research if it doesn't come to you naturally. And there are many people who do teach Reiki and other energy healing systems to children. So look it up. I'm a person who teaches Reiki to children. You can contact me as well. So children will learn through energy healing activities, they will understand how the universe works a lot more. And so they will have that opportunity to develop a system of wisdom around that as they move through life. And it'll make things a lot easier for them. It will boost their self-confidence. It will enhance their ability to communicate under any circumstances and be able to have heartfelt connections with other people. It'll balance their energy system so that they don't become overstimulated or depleted during emotional highs and lows. And it will promote inner peace and self-acceptance for them as well. So if they have a challenging day, they will be able to assist themselves in regulating those energies so that they can cope with it and understand it more. So even if you have infants, energy healing is very safe for infants as well as for toddlers. And so what you would do there, my recommendation is when they're napping or at bedtime, bath time, story time, that you would use your energy healing for their very young children. So you would charge your hands up and you take part in whatever you're doing. And so can you imagine as you're bathing them, you're charging that water, that with every flow of water that you pour over their body, that energy is soothing and calming them, getting them ready for bed or for the day, whatever time of day that you give them their bath. And you teach them how to charge the water themselves. So as they get older, if they're taking showers, you charge up and send energy to the shower head so that the water that comes out is giving them a nice energy healing bath. So there's so many ways that you can accomplish these goals. And so it's important to think about what kind of scripting you want to do with your kids, depending on their age. So something could be like, I'm filling you with golden sunshine, or you are surrounded by a cloud of bubbles that are bringing you joy and happiness. So you can work that depending on with your children's ages. You can write these statements with them, or you can come up with them when they're young, and you adapt them as they grow older. And some of them will take that on and have some wonderful statements that they can use for themselves. I recommend, based on the children's ages, that you limit your time doing individual solo healings with them, such as if you're going to just sit and do energy healing outside of story time or bath time or lotion time. And so depending on the child's age, if they're 1 or younger, you're going to do it when they're sleeping, which is the most effective time. But other than that, you pick the child's age and do it for that many minutes. But the most important thing is when the child starts moving away or they start fidgeting, then the session is over, because they know when they've had their fill of the energy. So the secret is that to watch the child's behavior, and their signals will let you know when they're done, when they've had enough. For adults, it's a whole different ballgame, but with children, they let you know by when they're ready to move on to something else, or if they start fidgeting. So incorporating some of these things into your daily routine, it becomes a part of your life. And so it's not something odd that you teach your child when they get a certain age. They grow as they learn. If you already have older children, then give them an assignment to look up energy healing, and then have a family conversation about the importance of energy and how everything in the universe is energy. And so these are some of the things I wanted to share with you today. And as your children grow older, especially with our teenagers and teens, that kind of thing, you can actually, and also, let me back that up a little bit. Actually, even younger, especially if they're involved in group sports or individual sports or other activities. Maybe they're in the band, or maybe they're in chorus or in drama. They may be in martial arts or whatever. These things are so powerful that they can be expanded to include those activities as well. There's nothing that cannot be impacted by how you approach energy healing. So I'll tell you a private little story. I have a grandson, and he's been involved in martial arts for many years, and he was going for his black belt test. And of course, building up to the time, he was getting anxious. And so he knows Reiki. I attuned him when he was quite young. And so I gave him an additional attunement, and we looked up on one of the AI things about some activities and how they connect with the form of martial arts that he's studying. And there was a ton of information, and it blew his mind. He was so excited. And so we wrote some mantras for him, and then we recorded him doing one of his katas, and he would listen to that and watch the video and visualize himself. And it really, really helped to calm his nerves. And on the day that he was going for him test, I asked, how are you feeling? He said he's feeling confident and calm because of these energy healing things that we added to his regular practice getting ready for that event. So regardless of what kind of extracurricular activities, maybe they play an instrument, these things can be used before they go to a performance to ground them, to have them visualize and send energy to the event that's coming in the future so that they see themselves already experiencing success in that activity. So try some of these things with your children and be very creative as you use these things and get their input, and make it a family thing where you check in with each other. How's that thing working for you? And you can add things to it as you go along. So another fascinating thing to do is also, if your children are into anime or superheroes, to talk about energy healing from those perspectives. And I bet they're going to tell you more about energy healing connected to those things than you even thought they knew about, because those things are all programmed into those types of shows as well as into video games. And so draw in all the things that interest them into your conversations about energy and how it works in the universe, and help them tap into their superpowers as you learn yours. So I hope this has been something that is inspirational to you and helpful to you. And I would love to hear if you find some things that really click for you and your family. And you can reach me at efunlayo.com. And you can send information to me through Awakening Airwaves. And I will love to hear from you. Until next time, thank you so much for joining me on Aligned and Whole with Awakening Airwaves. Thank you. Until next time.